You do it without noticing. Someone hands you a baby or a puppy or a friend's new kitten, and your voice climbs an octave. Vowels stretch. You sound honestly ridiculous. The word for this is parentese. You didn't learn it. Nobody taught you. But every culture on Earth does it. Same pitch, same rhythm, same exaggerated mouth shapes. Which is weird because we don't do this with anyone else. Not our boss, not our friends, not our partners. Just tiny humans who can't even understand words yet. So what's going on? Why does your brain default to sounding stupid the second a baby enters the room? The technical name is parentese, or infant-directed speech. Linguist Anne Fernald mapped it back in 1989 and found the same signature everywhere she looked. Pitch about an octave higher, vowels stretched roughly twice as long, and pauses between phrases you'd never use with an adult. It's not baby talk, it's not goo goo gaga. Real words, real grammar, just with the acoustic knobs cranked way up. It's a mode your brain switches into automatically. And it's doing a very specific job. In 1997, in a paper in Science, Patricia Kuhl at the University of Washington recorded mothers in the United States, Russia, and Sweden. Different languages, different cultures, same behavior. When these mothers talked to their babies, they exaggerated the vowel space, pulling e, ah, and oo farther apart than they do in normal adult speech. Kuhl's argument was simple. Babies are trying to figure out which sounds matter in their language. Adult speech smears the vowels together. Parentese pulls them apart, like turning up the contrast on a photo. You're not being cute. You're running a phonics tutorial with your face. Then there's the cross-cultural gate. In 2007, Gregory Bryant and Clark Barrett published a study in Psychological Science testing Shuar hunter horticulturalists in the Ecuadorian Amazon, a group with basically no exposure to Western media. They played the Shuar recordings of English-speaking American mothers talking to babies versus talking to adults. The Shuar guessed correctly which was which, from a language they didn't speak. That's how universal this signal is. It travels across the species without a translator. Charles Ferguson had already flagged something like this in 1964, calling baby talk a distinct linguistic register that showed up across the languages he surveyed. 60 years later, the evidence has only gotten stronger. Different tongues. Same sing-song. Nobody knows why our species agreed on it, and nobody agreed on it in a meeting. The melody carries meaning too. Fernald showed that parentese has consistent contours. A rising pitch when you want the baby's attention, a falling pitch when you're trying to calm them, and short, choppy bursts when you're warning them off something. Babies react to the shape of the sound before they understand a single word. You're basically running a soundtrack. Rising means look. Falling means safe. Sharp means stop. And you're doing all of it without a manual. Cool, mystery solved. Except, the effect doesn't stop at soothing. In a 2014 paper in Developmental Science, Nairon Ramirez Esparza and colleagues recorded families using tiny audio vests strapped to their infants. Days of home recordings, no lab, no performance. They tracked how much parentese each baby got. The kids whose parents used more of it, especially one-on-one, had significantly bigger vocabularies at age 2. Not a small bump, a real gap. You're not sounding stupid. You're building the child's language system in real time. And here's where it gets stupid. We don't just do this with babies. In 2002, Dennis Burnham and colleagues at the University of Western Sydney published work in Science showing adults use nearly identical acoustic patterns when talking to pets. Same pitch lift, same stretched vowels, same sing-song rhythm, but, critically, without without the vowel exaggeration that actually helps babies learn phonemes. So the pet gets the affection module. The baby gets affection plus a language upgrade. Your brain runs 2 versions of the same subroutine and picks the right one automatically. Nobody explained the difference to you. You just do it. Now try the reverse test. Try it on your coworker. Try it on the guy taking your order at the DMVs. You physically cannot. Something in your brain refuses to switch modes for a full-sized adult, even as a joke. The register is gated by who's in front of you. Small human, sing-song. Full-sized human, normal voice. Puppy, sing-song, boss, absolutely not. You don't get to pick which mode fires. The mode picks you based on a size and cuteness scan your brain runs in about 1/4 of a second. Why does the exaggeration even work? Newborn ears are mechanically kind of bad. Their auditory system is still tuning. High-frequency energy is easier for an infant to lock onto than low, murmuring adult speech. The stretched vowels give them time to actually process each sound before the next one arrives. It's the acoustic equivalent of talking slower in a loud bar, except the loud bar is the inside of the baby's own skull. You're not dumbing it down. You're compensating for hardware that hasn't finished booting up. And the child's brain uses that extra time to build a map of which sounds belong to their language and which ones are just background noise. Every stretched E is a data point. Here's the twist. Adults are famously bad at learning new languages. You've probably blamed your age, your accent, your lack of discipline. But part of the reason is that nobody Parentese talks to adults. When you learn Spanish from a podcast, the vowels are normal length, blurred together, spoken at conversational speed. No stretched contrast, no exaggerated pitch peaks pulling your attention to the important sounds. You are trying to learn a language on hard mode, and you didn't even know easy mode existed. Which raises a different, dumber question. What if the fastest way to teach adults a new language is to have someone talk to them like a baby? Don't think about that too hard. From an outsider's angle, this is one of the stranger things your species does. You are the only animals on Earth who talk. You've built cities and courts and constitutional law about how words should be used. And the moment a member of your species arrives too small to use any of it, you drop the whole system. You revert to a sing-song register you share with no other adult. Every culture, every language, same silly voice. The species that thinks its sophisticated defaults to melodic nonsense the second a miniature version of itself appears. It's not a bug. It's the interface the baby needs. You're just the delivery system, and you don't get a say in the matter. Anyway, now you know. Sorry.